Welcome to the 2026 Bourbon Mash Madness. Let the games begin. So, in this year's 2026 Mash Madness, there were 31 bourbons, one rye. Every tasting was completely blind. I had the four brackets with the 32 bourbons in it, and the pairings were predetermined. And my wife selected which pairings I would taste each time, and there was no reveal until the entire first round was completed. Every glass that was poured in one of these dark Glencairn glasses, so I couldn't tell the darkness of the bourbon. And she mixed around from one bracket to another, so I had no clue what I was tasting. So let's go to bracket one. Bracket one has some surprises in it. Taking a look at the top of the bracket, Angel's Envy Single Barrel Pen Oaks pick, the winner of the 2025 Mash Madness tournament, had an easy victory over Buffalo Trace. No doubt about it. The next match, Little Book Chapter 9. Does that look familiar, Ryan? Yeah? That easily took down Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select Total Wine pick. No problem there. Here's a surprise. One of the surprises of the tournaments. Weller Antique 107 outlasting Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Now you might say, well, yeah, it's higher proof. Of course you'd like that. But I love Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. It is one I thought was one of my favorites. In fact, this was such a shocker that we decided to redo this tasting, and Weller came out on top again. So I must really like Weller. And then the last match, not really a surprise. Wilderness Trail Cask Strength won my first Mash Madness a few years ago, and Eagle Rare was a winner of the second Mash Madness. So in this bracket, we had the first, the second, and the third winners of my Mash Madness tournaments, but only the first and third ones move on. So a couple of surprises there. Well, at least one surprise there, and some really tasty bourbons on the bracket too. Here we go. At the top of this, Colonel E.H. Taylor Small Batch. That was in the finals last year, going up against Heaven Hill Grain to Glass Straight Bourbon. Heaven Hill won. This one, another Angel's Envy single barrel pick, but Sunset Beach barrel pick outlast the only rye in the tournament, which is my favorite rye, but was not a match for Angel's Envy single barrel. Booker's. Oh, I just love Booker's. Little Book, Booker's 2024, you name it. That took down the Woodford Reserve Masters Collection Triple Finish. And the Triple Finish, very smooth bourbon. But the Booker's, super tasty. Well, here's one where the lower proof actually beat the higher proof. Russell Reserve Single Barrel Bourbon, very tasty bourbon. But Widow Jane, the Vaults 15-year, it's only 49.5% proof, which, 50%, not too bad. Man, that was good. That was so good. So, not sure if it's an upset. I think I would have guessed Widow Jane to win it, and it did. On to the third bracket. This is where it gets a little crazy. Again, another Heaven Hill Grain to Glass wheated bourbon takes down a Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. This was in the finals last year, but Heaven Hill won. Another Angel's Envy single barrel. I had 3 total in this tournament, and All three of them moved on, taking down Widow Jane, Lucky 13, which is a tasty bourbon, but doesn't compete with Angel's Envy. Now, here's a big surprise. Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, or Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel Barrel Proof, which I found in South Carolina in January, which, with the right amount of ice in it, oh, so tasty. But it didn't compare to John Bowman's Single Barrel. Man, I remember tasting this, and let me take a look at my notes here if I could find it here. Oh, here it is. I said tonight's tasting featured a very high proof versus a low proof. That is correct. I added lots of wood to the high proof, but the low proof was just too tasty. Too tasty. It is one of my favorites, and it's only like $50, $55 a bottle. I can only find it in the Sunset Beach area, North Carolina. But man, that one won easily. On to another Booker's victory over Old Forester 1924. 1924 only comes out like once a year. And it's probably kind of good that it lost because I didn't have a lot left and I haven't replenished that one. But the Booker's 2024-02, higher proof, going through. The last bracket. Oh my God, is this a shocker? Blanton's Single Barrel has not ever won a blind until now. And Old Forester 1920, again, one of, in past years, has been into the Final Fours, but a lower proof, 46.5 ABV, beating a 57.5 ABV. Shocker. In fact, my note said two very good bourbons. One is definitely higher proof than the other, yes. But I really enjoyed the lower proof. Really enjoyed it. So that moved on. The next match, oh my goodness. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923 from, well, 3 years ago technically, but 2+ years ago. I don't have a lot of that left, but man, that bourbon is really tasty. Taking down Old Forester Single Barrel Strength. Here's another surpriser. Old Fitz Bottled in Bond 7-year, beating Jack Daniel's Heritage Toasted Barrel. Oh my God, I love Jack Daniel's Heritage Toasted Barrel. I have 2.5 bottles of it. I love it so much. And you can find it in PA State stores. I found a couple bottles of it in South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever. And I really thought that this one was going to advance, but it didn't. And then the last match, Woodford Reserve Masters Collection Batch Proof against Baker's High Rye Bourbon. I really like the Baker's High Rye Bourbon, but the Batch Proof of Woodford Reserves moved forward. It was quite tasty. Well, that's it from round one of the 2026 Mash Madness. Some surprises. I'd love to hear your feedbacks. Let me know what you think.